All right, we've now covered Assemble's core functionality, including project management, asset management, collaborative documents, and the ability to send all of those out as review links to people outside of your projects. But what if you want to invite people into your projects that aren't a part of your internal team? These could be external vendors, clients, or anybody else that you're working with. You want to collaborate with them within Assemble, but you want to control what they can see and who they can communicate with. Well, that's where teams come into play. So if we look at the bottom left of our project, we can see the workspace team. This is our company, and this is where the paid users will go. And these users have access to all of the features and capabilities within our workspace. But beneath that, we have what's called guest teams. And you can think of these as additional buckets of users where you can invite external guests into your project for free. To create a guest team, just go ahead and click the plus button. And we could create a guest team for anything. This could be for clients, vendors, whatever it may be, but I'll go ahead and use editors for now. Within those teams, just click and enter an email address to add people onto the project. Now, guest teams are limited users, as you can see up here. They don't have access to all of the project features that a paid user does, but you can consider them reviewers that can come in, view things, leave feedback, and things of that nature. Now that we've added some guest teams, let's understand how to set the visibility of what they can see. First of all, let's start with these phases on the sidebar. Just simply click to open a phase. And if we come up here at the top and hover, we can actually see which teams have access to this phase. And if you click the person icon, you can simply switch on or off access for any of those teams, which means that when those users log in, they will only see the phases that you've given them permission to see. You can also set permissions on a folder level within a phase, or you can set it within an actual asset itself. And so let's go ahead and open this up and see how that works. If I come here, click share, invite collaborators, from the same screen, I also have my team permissions. So let's go ahead and invite these two teams to this asset. Now, an important thing happens when we invite teams to phases, folders, or the assets within them. On the sidebar of this asset, you can now see we have new tabs for each of those teams. And if I click into those, you can see it's a brand new feedback thread specifically for that team. Now, since I'm on the admin team, the block team in this example, I can jump into all of these different threads, have conversations and visibility into everything that's going on. But when someone on the crew team logs in, for instance, they're only going to be able to see the crew thread and nothing else. And in fact, if you ever want to confirm this, you can click here and see which users have visibility into a specific thread just to make sure. Which means that when somebody comes and leaves comments from the crew, the editor team won't be able to see it and vice versa, enabling you to be the conduit that all of that feedback needs to flow through. Now, let's say that the crew came in here and left some important feedback that for some reason needs to be sent over to the editor team for them to see. In that scenario, you can hover any comment, click the share icon, and share comments from one team to another. So if we select the editors and click share, you can see I've now shared that comment into that guest team's thread. So once again, this just gives you control over the flow of communication and who can communicate with who within your projects. Now, you can also set user permissions on the calendar itself. So let's go ahead and jump into the calendar. And we've built out this entire calendar, but maybe there's some parts of it that the crew or the editor team simply don't need to see. What you can do is just open up any task, and on that task, you're going to see visible to within the settings. If we click to open that, we can decide which teams have access to see that task. So maybe nobody needs to see this except for the block team. Once that's been done, on the right-hand side again, you'll see tabs for each of those teams. And what this enables you to do is quickly preview what they're going to see when they log in. So if we click the crew tab, you're going to see what their calendar looks like to them. And similarly with the editors tab. So this enables you to add layers to your project calendar to make sure that people only see what they need to see. For a more in-depth guide of how guest teams work, including a walkthrough of what the guest user login experience looks like, check out our YouTube for a playlist called Creating a Client Dashboard in Assemble.